All right, man. Listen, what is it? May 10th, Wednesday. Team No Sleep. What's up to you, brother? What Montel Allen is in the building. I'm just here. How you doing, man?
Man, blessed as usual. You know how we do, man.
Oh,
Just enjoying another day.
yeah.
Another day of the grind. I appreciate to have a grind. And man, just ready to just to attack some of these things, get some things
Yes.
kind of off our chest a little bit, and then enlighten some people hopefully with some of the subject matter we're going to talk about.
That's true. That's true. Listen, I know we got some new folks chiming in, and also I'm doing a little different setup here in the studio. Y'all let me know in the audience if, excuse me, you can hear me okay. I'm trying a different mic configuration. Shouts out to Shure. I'm working with the SM58 off camera right now, so a little plug for them. But social impact of sport, a lot of things going on. I'll talk about sports real quick. I'm looking over here. The Knicks leading them Heat 92-85. They got to win tonight, or else they just gonna go ahead and stay home. They're already in New York right now, so they just gonna go ahead and go around the corner and go home. So, really good energy and activity happening with those NBA playoffs right now. So I'm loving
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see
man.
what's going on there.
I think a lot of competitive spirit, right, with everybody. I mean, the Warriors so far played disappointing, but I mean they've been competitive.
You mad about the
Uh,
Warriors, aren't you? You mad about the
Yeah,
Warriors?
I mean, I wish they would win, but I mean, I think they got a little bit more some internal stuff going on, and
Yeah.
they've had it since the beginning of the year with the incident with Draymond and Jordan Poole, and I just think that they've met a team that's not phased, a veteran team that's not phased by their dynamic. So, but hopefully they can pull it together. Let they get a win tonight, take it back to LA and see what happens.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, the basketball's been good. I mean, Jokic and his little incident with the owner of the Phoenix Suns and all these other different things going
Yeah.
on, man.
Gave
I
him that
like I like
elbow.
I like it. Yeah, I like the competitive spirit, man, because I think it's good. It's good for not only basketball, but it's good for us to see people in that. And I mean, you're really competing for these to win these four games, and it's at all costs. I think that's a great energy for kids and people to see and witness. It's good. It ain't about participation. It's got to be like who can come out on top.
Oh, I like that. It's not about participation. I love that. Listen, I see
Yeah.
folks chiming in. I see Mr. Cox is in the building. Appreciate you, sir. I see Senior in the building. Listen, had a great day with him today. We went to a baseball game. So love that. I see some new folks chiming in. Mr. Roland Andrews at 86. All I can do is enjoy every day. Listen, I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. I I love that. At 80, all I can do is enjoy every day. Uh, Listen, man, I'm already hot, so I'm gonna put that out there already. I've got some other things going on in my world, but and then we got these same types of stories and same types of conversations that we've been having for a number of years, and we got one interesting one,
Yeah.
which that we've been talking
Before we
about
get
for a
started,
long
before,
time. Oh yeah, come on,
before we get
where you want to
started,
go?
no, before we start get started, I just want to send out a prayers to the people in Allen, Texas, man, about that incident,
Yeah,
that situation that happened. Another unfortunate mass shooting that we had, earlier this week. Not only that shooting, but we also had two shootings in LA. One drive-by, one was affected. A 12-year-old boy was killed, and a 14-year-old girl was shot. There was also an incident at a gas station where another 17-year-old boy was shot in the head. And then also in Detroit, there was another person that was shot. The gas station attendant, the people were shot as well. So that's four shootings, and people getting shot in the last 3 days, starting off this week. Again, we can't emphasize it enough. We need to do something about stop making guns. I don't care about gun control. I don't care about laws. They
mm,
need to stop making so many guns for pedestrians, for people to be able to have in order to commit these crimes.
yeah.
It just needs to keep being echoed every week. And if we have to keep echoing every week to get it through some people's heads, I hope we continue to keep on uh, preach that on this platform.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
got the energy, right? We'll
yeah,
keep talking about it, and somebody's listening somewhere. I think somebody's listening. I hope they are. But you're right, man. So we the independent media need to keep talking about it and raising these conversations, or they'll keep getting pushed to the back page of the news.
yeah,
So man, yeah, prayers to
yeah, absolutely.
us.
And everybody that was affected, all those families affected, our
Yeah,
prayers are with you.
yeah.
Absolutely.
That there's nothing good about that. And again, it sounds negative, and I hate to say this, but I'm tired of saying thoughts and prayers, right?
Yep.
But it only kind of seems fitting, but we got to say something more, and we got to do some more action. I'd rather do some talking, and I'd rather do some action instead of talking all the time. But yeah, it's horrible when these kinds of stories continue to come up in the news cycle. Let me
Yep.
ask you this though, in terms of where we want to go, and appreciate you for correcting me and putting me in the right path to have that conversation first. Where you want to go first? You want to talk about the Olympics, or you want to talk
Yeah,
about
let's start there with the Olympics and that
okay,
situation that's
okay.
going on.
Because it is an Olympic story, which again we have been talking about for a long
Hmm.
time, and old school Team No Sleep family know that we've been saying a lot of conversation about equity in sports, uh, who should play for what team. If you're born a male, you should stay on the male team. If you now are a transgender athlete, where should you be? Right. So I'm trying to setting that
Hmm.
page and setting that context right there. And I've said for a number of years, I know I got the tape. I
Yep.
know I got that. Y'all wait till 2024 when the Olympics come up, because that's when it's really going to become a conversation piece. That's when it's really going to be something to be like, all right, this somebody's got to do something. And here we go. Right now, trans runner is banned from the Olympics uh, because of the maintain fairness in women's sports conversation. So, French sprinter Halba Diouf, 21 years old, has been banned from competing in the Olympics because she's a trans athlete. The
Yep.
Olympics, I think this is the first main athlete situation where they've actually come out and said, listen, we're not gonna have three bathrooms. We're not gonna have
Yep.
three sets of dorms. We're not gonna have three races for the sprint and for your particular meet. We are drawing that line in the dirt, saying that you can't compete in the Olympics as a trans athlete. Been saying this is gonna be happening a lot. I think this conversation happening now is a good thing to happen, because I think it needs to happen far enough in advance before the Olympics so that folks can work through whatever issues, and probably this athlete's going to appeal. There's going to be some more conversation. It's going to go to court. It's going to go through all that. So that needs to happen now before we
Yep.
get to 2024 and we start marching around Paris with our flags and saying, yay for the Olympics. Your thoughts on this, though, now that something like this is finally starting to come out with a prominent athlete, a winning athlete, who now is being told that, you know what, no, come summer 2024 in Paris, you can't race for the women's side.
I think it was something like you said we've discussed so many times that now it's happening. Now, is
Mm-hmm.
it discrimination? I guess people can scream the discrimination part about it, but there's a the caveat to it, or the nugget in this is that we have to define where a transition person can run. Do they run with their biological race, or
Mm-hmm.
do they run, with the race they've changed themselves into, and compete in that capacity? Until then, until that's defined and those rules is there, unfortunately, you cannot participate. That's bottom line, because we've already talked about the unfair advantage.
Yep.
Period. So you can have a problem with it until we sort out the rules. Now, will the rules be sorted out? I think in the future there will be three races. There's going to be something they're going to, because now it's going to, especially when it comes to the United States, right? We're such a liberal country. We don't. The law isn't just flat out like it is in other countries. Where it's going to be held in Paris. I think when it starts to come to the United States again, I think in 2028 when we get the Olympics here, I think it's going to run rampant at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Lawsuits. We'll probably have protests. We'll have all these things going on. But the bottom line, there needs to be a definitive rule. And this is something me personally, I don't agree that her participating. She shouldn't be able to participate if she was born a biological man against other women. Unfair. So if that's my vote, that would be my vote. No, you can't compete. We need to figure out a different lane for you to be able to compete in, or you can go compete what you were biologically born as. You can compete with males. I think we already had the issue with the swimmer, right? The
Right.
swimmer that was breaking all the records and everything. I think that's going to be another issue coming up. I think there'll be other trans athletes that want to participate in all these things, and I just think at some point in all professional sports, there's going to have to be a line drawn at some point.
Yeah.
Period. It's going to have to be.
It's starting to happen now. And interesting question here from Mr. Cox. He said he thought the IOC and other organizations had already said that transgender athletes wouldn't be allowed to participate in the women's events. Maybe so, but I don't know if it's made headline news. Right now,
Yeah.
we were talking about it before it was major news, and honestly, I would think that the IOC was trying to just brush it under the rug until they had to actually say something. Now we on FoxNews.com talking
Hmm.
about this particular situation.
Yeah.
So now it's mainstream. Now this conversation has to come from underneath the covers. And as it says right here, the sprinter began treatment to transition as an adult. French authorities recognized her back in 2021, but that has nothing to do, as it says right here, it means nothing for next summer's game. So this
But
person,
you know what?
yeah,
This is the first of many, though. I think this is the first of many.
yeah,
This is the first one that's to kind of come out as we get closer and inch closer to the Olympics. I think we're going to find several of these stories kind of popping up and what's going on, where people. And I know they said that they're using the discrimination. They're doing the discrimination, but we're being discriminated against. We're being ostracized out of the Olympics. We're not being allowed to compete. But your biological makeup is different, and that's the part that I think you could address the discrimination, but address that I'm a different makeup as well.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Be all the way transparent. Don't tell us half the story. Tell us all the story while you're there, and let us and now let the ruling or whatever the rules didn't take its place.
Yeah.
I have nothing against transgender people, but I do think it's unfair if there's a transgender male that's turned a female to go and compete in women's sports.
Yes, and
It's unfair, and I think the other way around too,
yeah.
right? Male, they compete if a woman turned into a man and tries to compete in a male sport, I think there's an unfair advantage, a disadvantage, right? In that aspect.
Yeah, someone should definitely step up on both sides and say that. I was going
Yeah.
to say, and I was going to make an unfortunate joke. I was going to say Allison Felix, but is fast. But this individual right here, listen, I'm in the gym quite a bit too. But this person, listen, Alba Dioff has got some definition. This person right here has definitely got an unfair advantage just from a genetic makeup, not from
Yep.
training, not from eating fiber bars and protein shakes, not from learning fundamentals of how to run, but just having the muscle mass genetic makeup of a man wanting to compete in a woman's race. In golf, they call
Now,
it a handicap, right?
yes.
An unfair advantage or something that where the other folks on the squad um, are at a negative compared to you. I can't even get the words out.
Yeah.
I'm tripping today. So help me, pray for me today.
I,
I'm
I,
having a hard time with a lot of stuff right now.
my question is this now. You identify as the opposite sex that you are. I get that part, but to qualify in this situation, do you have to have the full operation and transformation into a woman before you compete, or can you be within that transformation, even though you're not complete? It's not all the way completed, and you could compete. Because at that point, if it's not all the way completed,
Yeah.
now we're running into another difference, right? You identify as that, but you're not, your operation or whatever is not completed yet. How can you justify saying you'll be able to complete in that sport? So I I'm confused, man. I get confused about how the whole process works of being a transgender. And forgive me, I don't, I understand the whole part, but I know there's a process to it. But when you're competing in sports, like you said, she started the transformation in 2021. Is she completely a woman now as far as
Yeah.
her physical makeup is done and changed?
That's a good
Um,
point. And I took it off the screen, but that's kind of what I'm reading right now. It's more of a scientific approach, right? And I'll put the link in the description so folks
yeah,
can read this, right? The decisions are always difficult when they involve conflicting needs and rights between different groups. Uh, in March, the World Athletics cut the maximum plasma testosterone levels for the long distance runs in half, and the level must be maintained for 2 years before athletes with DSD can participate. So again, now we're measuring blood, we're measuring testosterone levels and saying, listen, if you fall within this category or this category, you are in this bucket. And because
yeah,
you're in that bucket, you can't compete on this race. That has nothing to do about this person at one time being Bob and now this person being Barb, right? It has nothing to
mhm,
do with that aspect of M versus F and that kind of thing on your driver's license. This is scientific medical stuff. What I'm reading, I'm a layman, I'm third person
yeah,
removed, just seeing what they're telling me right here. It's based on testosterone levels. And if you fall outside of those testosterone minimums for a female, you can't race as a female. It's
Wow.
I'm
Oh
I'll
man,
put it
that
back on
you
the
know,
screen, folks. Listen,
I,
y'all don't have to believe me. I just play an expert on the internet.
no,
I'm
no,
not here.
I'm hearing you say that, and that's even gonna make it more complicated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now you're saying science over a person's identity, and then you have science. You're saying science over a person's physical makeup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I can see this now, and I don't even know who governs the world body of things to be able to take it to court. But I can tell you right now, in the United States, there are going to be a tremendous lawsuits on both sides coming down the pipeline. It's going to be because you're denying someone to participate, they identify with this, and now you're saying, well, science says this. Well, nope, that's not the way I feel. We're going to go into, there's going to be some battles in this thing. And I think we brought it to everybody's attention first. It's going to start becoming headlines.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are just, oh, it's the background, no one's really talking. It's going to start to become headlines because there's going to be more and more lawsuits coming out, especially as this thing starts to gain momentum. Transgenders want to participate in these events and these and become professional athletes. That's when we're going to start getting a lot more lawsuits. A lot more dialogue is going to be talked around it, and I don't know where it lays. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where this lays, and I can even say they're going all the way to the Supreme Court before they can decide what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Listen, my man Carlos right here. First of all, shouts out to Jim for correcting me on my microphone. Hopefully, I'm back to normal. I got my Michael Jackson mic on right now. I'll do these other studio edits later. Motivated Minds is saying there's also much more than only testosterone levels that gives this trans athlete an advantage. Puberty.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, absolutely
Uh sneak peek, I'm gonna be talking to this man tomorrow, and we probably gonna dive into this as well. We're gonna talk about masculinity in today's society. So again, I may bring this story up. Carlos, take down these notes, man, because we may want to talk about this. Because again, we're talking about it from a sports perspective. We're talking about it from a social impact perspective. Here come these Paris Games starting off in July 26th of 2024, and we're now starting to get winning athletes who typically would be out there getting medals and all. Now they're being told because you identify as somebody else. You identify now as a female, but you were born as a male. You cannot run and represent yourself and your country because of puberty, testosterone levels. And it's not a choice. I'm trying hard to say to veer from saying this is a choice, but from your new existence, your different
Why? Well, I
existence.
mean, why would you shy away from that comment? It is a choice. You choose you choose to change that because you feel that way,
Come on,
you
come on.
still it's a choice. I
Yeah,
can
come on.
feel that way and stay the person that I am in my still physical makeup. You make that choice to do those types of things. So when it comes all the way down to it, it's a choice. I wouldn't back down from that comment. It is a choice. Now, but with your choice, like we all know, with choices come ramifications. There comes accountability. There comes things you're going to have to endure when you make choices. And when you make choices against the grain, it's really going to be very hard because now you have to break through all these barriers. But
Okay.
at the end of the day, it's a choice. And I mean, I respect, and that's what we do at least in the United States. We respect people's choices, right? We respect what they do, regardless of how you feel about it, or if you disagree about it, or if it's against your race, religion, or whatever you do, we still respect it. But at the end of the day, it's a choice. They made a choice to be able to do this, but now you have to endure what the ramifications are from what you've chosen.
Okay.
My
Good point.
my question with them, my question also is like from a financial standpoint, because most of these athletes, especially when they get to the level that the person in France is, they're sponsored. How does that affect their financial well-being now?
Wow.
I'm supposed
Yeah.
to be an Olympic athlete. I'm supposed to be able to do this. I get sponsored to train and run to be able to compete at this level. And now it's been taken away. I just there's so many layers, man, of this kind of thing that's going to happen that I'm not quite sure where it's going to fall at the end of the day. I know the United States is going to be it's going to be difficult because I know it's going to have to go up to court. It's going to go to the
Yeah.
courts eventually.
Man,
I don't know how
what's
it works
crazy
over in
about it
France.
is you think about this too, every 4 years or 2 years, I had no idea how many Olympic athletes worked at some place like Home Depot and Lowe's. Right. Because
Mm-hmm.
every 2 years you see the commercials and you see all the
Yeah.
athletes and you think about it. Like that, no shade to any of those two companies, because listen, I'm gonna be there this weekend as well, getting some things, but when you work at Home Depot and you work at Lowe's, your check is probably not as significant as it needs to be for a traveling professional athlete who needs
Hmm.
new Pumas, new jerseys, new Gatorade, right? Who needs all that stuff? So yeah, those sponsorships really
Yeah,
are the means to you getting to from California to Paris, right? Getting you
yeah,
on that
yeah.
business class flight to these locations, getting you all that stuff. So if now you can't even run,
Well, do you pull
what
your sponsorship?
what you
You
gonna
pull?
do?
Do you pull the? Yeah, I think you. I mean, you left out even more. You left out the training. Where do they stay?
Oh
You got to
man,
remember, these athletes pretty much are live, die, breathe, eat that sport
yeah.
at this point because they're training for the Olympics. They're 2 weeks away. They want to be the most superior athletes when they get there. So everything is cut off, except for we're going to eat, sleep, train, and that all costs money. Everything costs. So your food,
That's
your
perspective
nutritionist,
right there, boy. That's
yeah, your
perspective.
nutritionist,
Golly.
yeah, your trainer, the facilities you stay at, where you stay at, where do you go to compete, a person that's doing your massages, all those things cost, and they start to add up. And
Mm-hmm.
now that this person has been pretty much told that they can't compete,
Hmm.
my thought process is, okay, now where does their livelihood come from? Because now, as a sponsor, I will sponsor you because I thought you were going to be in the Olympics. Now that you're not going to be in the Olympics, do I pull my sponsorship? And I'm going to say, from a business standpoint, it's absolutely yes. Right? You
That's
can't
true.
do what you're supposed to do for me, so I'm not gonna invest any money in it. And that's just I'm speaking straight from a business
That's
standpoint.
all business, right? I'm not trying to
Yeah,
get into your personal. I'm just saying what can you do for me and what are you doing for me?
yeah,
You're not out here running, so you don't have my gear on. You're not bringing no money into the mall, into the store.
yeah.
That's an interesting perspective right there. So
So
it's a whole
yeah,
domino effect, right?
exactly. It's a big
Wow.
domino effect. So I'm wondering how this is all. That's what I mean. It's going to go to courts eventually because it's kind of crazy how it's all going to play out. And get a better grasp on how this is supposed to happen. And we're just talking one sport in track. Can you imagine in these other sports that these things are going to happen? It's going to happen in other sports and things like that. So, man, this is it's. I think, like I said, get
Yeah.
used to seeing this. Get used to seeing these headlines because I think they're going to start to come fast and furious the closer we get to the Olympics.
And I will even say I believe that track is going to be more visible because it's probably the most watched summer sport. And
Mm.
when it starts getting so selfishly when it starts coming and hitting home more. So when
Yeah,
you start seeing US athletes that are affected by this, that's when you're
yeah.
gonna see all of the hoopla and you're gonna start seeing folks concerned about what's going on and what's really going. So we wanted to bring this to you and we wanted to start with this because again, we've been talking about this for a long time, ever since,
Hmm.
like Montel said, the swimmer, the professional skater that we still
Yep.
trying to get on the show here and those kind of things. All these athletes going through some things right now, wanting to, rightfully so, wanting to compete. Right, nothing
Yep.
wrong with wanting to compete, wanting to do what it is that you do and what you love. But now there's barriers, there's hindrances, there's questions, there's concerns, governing bodies, fairness, competitive, all that stuff. Right? It's ugly. It really.
Yep.
I'm glad I'm not in that room to have
Yeah.
to make the
And, and,
decision.
and,
God.
and it's funny because you were talking about the science and supposed to define it. I don't think it's as clear cut as the science. I don't. It's not just clear cut like, hey, if you did measuring these things in the next 2 years, you can compete. It's not that simple. It's not
Yeah,
because fans are not going to accept it to be that simple. People that pay their money to watch is not going to accept it to be that simple. Because just like you got supporters, you're going to have people that are not supporters.
that's true.
So, and the money, and no one cares. Everybody just wants the green, right? You just want the money.
That's
So
all.
at that point,
That's all. That's
so
all
at
they
that
want.
point, it's just like you gotta really, they're gonna have to really figure out this how to make it work for everyone. And I know everyone can't be pleased, but they got to make it work for the majority, right? Because you want the consumers. Period. I mean, that's the bottom line when it comes down to everything, as far as an endorsement and everything. Outside of just the athlete running or racing, they need all these other things to kind of work to make sure everything is working smoothly.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, man. I think it's gonna
It,
be really, really,
Hey,
really,
we
really
gonna
interesting
keep
to see what
breaking the
happens.
news though. We gonna keep and like Kevin said,
Yeah,
we've been on this since a couple of years ago. We've been
yeah,
talking about
yeah,
this particular thing. We told y'all, listen, I wish I
yeah,
had the lotto numbers for some of this stuff that we've been talking about. Um,
yeah.
hold on. Oh, so we gonna continue on, but I'm looking down here at some metrics, some live and shouts out. I know there's a lot of new folks watching. There's a gang of folks watching. So we
Hmm.
gonna Nope, we're not gonna be humble here on this live. We got a gang of folks. I see y'all over there on Twitter too. Listen, come on over here to YouTube because that's where you can engage and interact. Because we about to get into some other conversations for sure. Jim, yeah, we're gonna be watching the Laker game. I'm over here looking at these Knicks trying to continue their season. Minute to go, 107 to 101 over them Heat. Jimmy Butler not doing it, but we'll see. But yeah, we gonna try to continue to do all the things. We're gonna move on to this next one after this right here. Kaepernick still has endorsement deals and hasn't played in quite some time.
Yeah, but Kaepernick's situation is completely different. He was fighting. He was fighting a race issue, right?
Yeah.
Something that people could empathize, and their consumers, the consumers, support Kaepernick for them to keep him going.
Mm-hmm.
And he was fighting for what we feel, what we've now later on to see that was right was police brutality.
Yeah,
that's what his stance was about. So we kind of figured that right. And that's a whole different fight, right? You know, racism and police brutality. Talking in that over. Now we're talking about transgender. You know, the LGBT community being discriminated against, being affected. This is a whole different battle.
Yes, it is.
This is kind of a whole different battle that we're dealing with because now we're dealing with things that some people think are, some of the worst. They just think it's very, very bad. They don't want to support it at all. Then you have other people that really want to support that community, and want to see them thrive and everything. So this is kind of ugly. It's really, really, really ugly, and it's new territory because even though we know LGBT's been around for forever and transgender's been around for a long time, it's never been to the forefront and never been to the forefront in sports. It's always been something that's kind of been kept out.
This is an awkward conversation, right? This is almost what you and I are living for this platform. Right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
This is our time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is our time right now.
Absolutely. So they're fighting to break that barrier, man. And anytime you're breaking a barrier, it's always going to be difficult, and you're going to have people that just create more and more barriers for you not to be able to enter. And we got to be transparent. Honestly, still, people that are gay and have different sexual preferences are ostracized, and transgenders are definitely ostracized. It's honest. Just like Black people are ostracized, Latinos are ostracized in certain situations, and so on and so on. But the transgender thing is I don't want to say it's groundbreaking, but it's new to be in the forefront. And since now it's in the forefront, now everybody's going to come out the woodworks to either oppose it or support it. And unfortunately, I think they have more people opposing it than they have supporters, especially right now because it's something that people are just not used to. So they have an uphill battle, unfortunately.
There you go. All right, there we go. We didn't drain that one pretty well, but we're gonna come back to it because there's gonna be more stories.
Yeah.
Man, I really don't like nothing that we got to talk about. So I'll wag the dog or wag the tail and tell you right now we don't have anything good at the end to talk about. So I know we've been trying to.
We got the last story.
That's a good outcome. Okay. Shouts out to you, brother. Keep me right tonight because I'm off. I'm a big baseball guy. Big base, and you know that. Like I said, I was at a baseball game with my dad today, but I don't like folks who aren't involved with any sport and they are interjecting themselves into the sport, especially when it comes to officiating. I don't like Monday morning quarterbacks. I don't like, armchair quarterback. I don't like the folks that are at a game and think they know the rules more than Blue does. And especially don't like, I'm going to tell somebody, I'm talking to some of y'all, I don't like these parents out here who swear that their kids should be D1 athletes and starting quarterback or starting pitcher when they should just be learning the process and sitting on the bench. What am I talking about? All right. So high school baseball game. Son was out there playing in Florida, Central Florida. Dad didn't like a call that was made against his son. And after the game, Dad went and approached the umpire. And you see the headline here. Dad knocks out the umpire at son's baseball game. A father has been charged after punching a 63-year-old umpire, a disabled veteran, during a high school baseball game in Central Florida. 63-year-old disabled veteran. Man is out there umpiring a high school baseball game. You know what? I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it. How about that? Please, CNN, don't have.
A Florida man has been charged after punching an umpire last month at a high school baseball game. So here you see 41-year-old Jorge Aponte Gonzalez as he walks toward the field, proceeds to punch the 63-year-old disabled umpire, knocks him out. This happened April 18th. He was arrested Wednesday. Gonzalez's son is one of the players. Joining us now from Miami, CNN correspondent Carlos Suarez. I mean, this is
okay. I didn't want to show the video because the man came with so much aggression and so much force. 40-some-year-old person to a 62-year-old disabled veteran, and hits him like that.
For what? My question.
What we gonna do about this? What we gonna do about these overzealous parents and these folks that are in the stands saying that again a call didn't go their way, or my son didn't get to play as long as they should have. Umpire, you don't know what you're talking about. This is unexcusable right here.
Yeah, that behavior right there is super unexcusable. I think, and I'm a parent. My kids are high school athletes. I'm very passionate about when they play.
Yeah.
I question refs' calls. I do all the time because I used to coach, so I know how to talk to them and get under their skin and say different things. Also, but I do it in jab of fun. I'm not serious. I'm just rousing the ref to kind of get him to do things and hopefully do something that's in favor of our team winning or something like that. But to be at a point where I'm so angry about a guy making a call to want to fight him after the game, man, it's sad. It's sad, man. It's terrible because that man right there is a retired vet. He's making probably $75 a game. He's volunteering his time
to go out there. His own time. Don't have to
volunteering his own time, man, to come out there and make calls. And I'm sure he wasn't out to mess up his son. He wasn't singing his son and trying to make sure his son was a failure. His son did something. He made a call. You live with it. Honestly, you know what? If a referee makes a bad call, that should build strength in your son and character in your son. I didn't go my way, and I'm still going to compete. Not the fact that I have the right to go out there and go beat up a ref because I thought he made a wrong call. That just shows the pettiness of our society right now.
That shows that shows what I'm gonna interrupt real quick. That shows what Jen Smite is saying, the loss of basic civility.
That's a good word. I don't know that word, but that's good.
That's big words right there. Welcome to the family right there. Right there, you get escalated to OG member of the family.
Yeah. I'm about to look that word up. That's a good word. Civility. I like that. That's sad thing. I mean, it's really sad, but I mean, we've done these instances before. Remember, we covered the Pop Warner football game, and what's her name's brothers shot the coach. I mean, where is youth sports that passionate that it goes that far? Because I'm gonna tell you, to be honest with you, there's no Division I coach coaching nobody is not recruiting nobody at youth. They're not recruiting nobody at middle school. And at the high school level, they're not looking at you until probably your sophomore year if you made a strong impact. Your junior year, you're either that guy or they're not, so they know about you already. And your senior year, you're participating to get in there, and then they're coming to look at you and talk to you. So whatever this dad was so pissed off about as far as the call is concerned, makes no sense why you feel you need to put your hands on the ref. If anything, at the worst case scenario, you could come into the ref after the game and say, I didn't agree with your call. Why'd you make that call? And let him just justify himself and say, we disagree to disagree and move on. Son, you'll get him next time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way you would. I feel that you would operate that. And be honest with you, I don't care what sport you play and anybody playing sports. If there's an umpiring call, at some point, if it hasn't happened already, there's going to be a bad call on you. I don't care what
it's part of the game. It literally is. It's part of the game, and that's the part right there that builds the character.
This is funny because I was looking at the thing. They said the last game between the Warriors and the Lakers, the ref said they missed 4 calls at the highest level possible.
Man.
So if at the professional level they're gonna miss calls, what makes you think a volunteer's not gonna miss a call in a high school game?
Come on. And here's an interesting thing. And I thought about this. I'm not sure everyone thought about this, and I'm gonna bring this twist in. Shouts out to News always coming through with the things right here. Worst part, the kid is going to suffer the consequences and possibly be kicked off of the team. So the kid is going to be the one who's looked at down by the team, by the coach, by
Yep.
everyone else, because
Yep.
that's your dad out here acting the
Yep.
fool, knocking out the umpire. You know what? Why don't you go stay with him at home, and you're not even going to be on the team? So they're talking domino effect again. It's the kid that now has to go through saying, my dad's a bully. My dad's out here knocking out the umpire. Why? Whatever.
Yep. I mean, you got the domino effect of not only that, probably expulsion because of your parents. Because if you do sign something when you're a parent and your kid plays a sport that you're not going to act a fool. You sign a contract saying, I'm not going to act a fool. I'm not going to do this and blah, blah. So it's possible expulsion or suspension. He'll probably be kicked off the team. He might even not be allowed to play in the district anymore because the district will discuss that they won't be able to do it. So now his son's baseball career, if it was going to go anywhere, is now super affected. It won't happen
on his
now.
Record. It's on his record.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, I know a lot of coaches, and I know more in the football world than the other world. But I'm telling you right now, the worst way to not get your kid recruited is the parent.
Say that one more time, because that's what I'm gonna cut up right there for our micro content.
The parent messes up recruiting more so than anybody else because they either want to be overzealous, they think they know more than anything, and they're intruding in the process of being recruited. Now, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. That's different. If you're asking questions, it's different. But I'm talking about my son's better. He deserves more. He's this, he's that. He should be getting this and this and that. That's why we have this rampant situation with the portal when kids transfer in high school all the time. Parents. It ain't the kids. It's parents. So at some point, they need to look in the mirror.
At some point, y'all need to look in the mirror and listen to Montel Allen because he just told you. Listen, again, the last clip I put out there while you was preaching to folks has got a lot of traction and it's got some advertisers coming and talk to us. I'm gonna talk to you about that after the show. But that kind of knowledge right there, again, coming from someone, and I'm just saying, coming from someone who's been there in the business, in the coaching business, in the recruitment, in the scholarship finding business for these athletes. This is how you do that. This is how you navigate that. You can't be out here acting up like this. You can't have your daddy out here knocking out the umpire. When you try to submit your Max Preps highlight reel and out the corner, the periphery of the eye, we see your dad out there acting the fool and yelling. We can't have that.
No, I mean, it's funny. I had a good friend of mine staying the night at my house last night, and he was talking about a kid that he was evaluating. He's a coach. He's a Division I coach. Mm-hmm. He was talking about he was evaluating a child, and they were looking at the kid play. They were practicing, and the kid was doing it. And the mom was in the stands, being very not belligerent, but go baby, you the man. You can do all you got. You can get anything you want. Just being very kind of obnoxious while she's in the stands, and that was taking attention away from the child. And what his performance was doing because of her antics. Now, there's a difference between being a proud parent and also being someone that can just cheer your child on and say and be very encouraging. But there's a fine line to being that parent that's very obnoxious and crossing the line.
Yeah.
The scouts felt the parent was crossing the line. So what did that do to that child? They were like, he's a good athlete, but I don't know if we're going to be interested because we don't want to deal with that. Right? You don't want to deal with that. And this father right now, and this is crazy, regardless of how good that kid is in baseball, he's now tainted because of his father's actions. He could be the number one pick in baseball right now. The actions are tainted right now. Because now he will no longer be number one. He's going to fall all the way down just because of his father's actions. So parents that have kids in athletics, you got to kind of be careful. Like I said, it's just a fine line of encouraging or being belligerent. It's a fine line between discussing something with them, having a disagreement, or crossing the line and being physical with somebody. There's a line there. You can disagree. Hey, ref, that was a bad call. Why you make a bad call? Why you make a bad call on 43? Let's go, man. You pick it up. Get it right. Or it's F you, ref. Why you do the blah, blah, blah. You got to be careful what you do because that affects the recruiting process now. Whether you want to believe it or not. I'm sure, ask that kid that was just playing baseball and his dad just punched the thing. His recruiting just went, boom. Tanked.
Is that? Let me ask this, and this is in line with the question that we got here. Is that a generalization, or is that again from what you know? Because and this is why I asked that. How much leverage do you think that child has over that parent that's why you don't punish the kid, right? Can the kid go out and appeal and say, "Look, I mean, look at my body
No,
of work,"
no,
as
no,
opposed to look at my
no,
okay,
no.
mm-hmm.
You're trying to justify that
Yeah,
actions. Bottom line, the philosophy is the fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree,
yeah.
right?
Oh, boy, say that. Come on
So
now.
so you got to think what you got to think
Ooh.
when you're recruiting thousands of athletes, right? Thousands of athletes. I got an athlete. They're all the same size, same measurable, same everything, same kind of athlete. They're both rated 4.0s. Okay. What you do is you start to pull the onion back a little bit later. Okay. How is his social media? How is his behavior in class? How is his behavior with his friends? Oh, how is his parents? Oh, this one parent is an asshole, and this one parent is not. I'm gonna go with the one that I ain't got to deal with the non-asshole parent.
Mm-hmm.
Let that other one go. Regardless if he's a great kid in front of me, he's nice. I got to peel back the onion when I got thousands of recruits and they're all on the same level. I'm gonna figure. Remember, recruiting isn't figuring out who's the best. It's what you've done wrong. It's the things that you've done negative. It's not everything you've done. It's what you've done negative to start to weed you out. When everything's on an even playing field, it's now find out what you've done wrong. What are the negatives? Not what the positives are. What are the negatives so we can start to kind of figure out who's going to level up and who's going to level down. Just like when we do performance evaluations at work. People can be great in the job, but you're going to say, okay, you know what? That person's not sociable. That person's not a team player. They can both be doing all their work and be great, but you're going to start to nitpick at things to minus them so that person doesn't even out higher than the other one.
Great point.
It's the same thing with recruiting.
Yeah.
So you got to understand that kid, his parents' actions are effective of him, regardless of how apologetic he is, regardless of how great of a kid he is, regardless of nobody what says about him. His parents' actions right now will be effective him in his recruiting process, and probably, to me, it'll probably be the end of his baseball career in that district because I don't think they'll allow him back in because of his dad's actions.
That's crazy.
So now he missed out on the whole season. He's missed out on the whole season. So no recruiting film, no numbers. Everything is bad at this point.
And already athletic careers compared to anything else are already short. And the percentage of athletes that are going to go pro is very small, right? In the 1-2%, right. if anything. Yeah. So now you've knocked this kid down even that much more. JW Smite, I hope we in the dialogue we were answering some of your questions. I saw you going back and forth, and I saw Mr. Cox chiming in as well. So listen, let's keep it engaging, let's keep it interactive. I love that, but that I wanted to show that and just show that we still got a long way to go, folks. We still got a long way to go. There's no reasoning behind that. That just doesn't make no sense. I see some folks dropping in. Shirley P in the building. Appreciate you, our friend, for being here. I know she probably watching these Warriors and these Lakers play. They just started, so don't worry about it. Okay, you know the next one.
We'll wrap up in the next 20 minutes. Yeah, so everybody can get
I saw the numbers kind of dip just a little bit when the game started. I'm like, oh, okay, hold on. Let's make sure that we. So the next one they're gonna keep playing. Right now, I think Steph must be dropping threes. Okay, because it's 6-3. It was 1-0 a second ago, and when I looked again, now 6-3. Okay, we got a couple more stories. Let's be cognizant though here, because we want to get locked back in on some things that we want to talk about here. Listen, but look at this, man. They got love for you out here, man. I'm just back here, Wizard of Oz, pulling the strings and making it look right. But yeah, it's all about Montel. All right, so we talked about parents, money quarterbacks, ones that think they know everything. Now we got some coaches out here. We we got some coaches out here talking. We had Urban Meyer a couple of years ago out there at his little bar, had some folks sitting on his lap when he was probably should have been in the office drawing up plays, and we know the story of all that. So that coach didn't do very well. Had some other coaches had some unfortunate affairs outside of their marriage, which cost them some marriages, which cost them some jobs. Lot of things happening. We had the Bobby Knights of the world out here throwing chairs and hitting people. That was back in the day, but still today, we got coaches, West Virginia. We got Bobby Huggins out here being very comfortable on the radio. Very too comfortable. I'm not gonna play this because I got the audio. I'm also gonna put the link in here so you can go check out the audio. But Bob Huggins controversy here, West Virginia coach, but he gets to keep his job after calling the Xavier fans a homophobic slur.
Yep.
The homophobic slur is about sexuality, stereotypically about sexuality. And coach just went all in on the radio, talking about Catholic, talking about religion, talking about sexual tendency, talking as it relates to Xavier fans. The radio personalities were chumming it up with him, kind of letting it go on for a while until he made these comments, and they were like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" Then he said it again. Then he said it again, and then they cut the interview pretty short. Let me just read this. Let me just read this right here. Huggins directed a homophobic slur at Xavier fans twice during a radio interview with Cincinnati's 700 WLM on Monday. It was what all those Catholic I think Huggins said as he spoke with the host, Bill Cunningham, about an alleged incident at a game between Xavier and Cincinnati. And again, that F is in relation to a terrible word that's used again from a homosexual perspective, right? So I'll leave it at that. I'll leave the link. You guys go check it out. The man gets to keep his job, for one. The man
got fined $1 million. Got fined $1 million.
He got fined $1 million. But you know, money's different. Money's different when you blue collar, white collar. When you at this level, $1 million, you probably got that sitting underneath the couch somewhere. So
he'll get that back if he makes the tournament. He probably got that in his contract. He'll get that back if he makes.
There you go. Right. That doesn't hurt as much as it does someone like you and me or me. I don't know. I know you probably balling, but but the thing is, he released a statement saying, "Listen, I was insensitive. I shouldn't have said that." Earlier today on radio station, I was asked about a rivalry. I use a completely insensitive and abhorrent phrase that there is simply no excuse for. You get caught, you start saying, "Oh Lord, I know I messed up. I shouldn't have said it." Let's dive into this just for a little bit because I want to keep moving on to some other stories. But here we go. Head coach on the radio, getting very comfortable, saying something. He meant to say what he said because he wouldn't have said it twice.
Yep.
Now he apologizing because, again, we done gone in his check into his wallet and grabbed out $1 million. But he still gets to keep his job. Okay, well, whatever. Tell me your thoughts on this. And everyone in the community, chime in on this.
Two things. So if you ever listen to the interview, it's funny how the radio host was laughing with him. He was laughing with him as he was saying these things.
Yeah.
So as he was talking, so that's one thing.
I think it was a little nervous laugh, though. It was like,
I don't know, man.
This was like kind of...
Okay. No, don't play. Don't have to play. But I'm just saying to me,
I'm gonna play, but I'm not gonna play the part of what he said.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play.
He was kind of laughing along with the interview.
Play for West Virginia.
Catholics don't do that.
No, we're above the fracas, aren't we? No problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I tell you.
No, I'm not. Because right then is where
they're kind of jollying along and laughing. Yeah. That's the part one. And then two, man. To be honest with you. I know Bob Huggins is a Hall of Fame basketball coach at the basketball coach at the collegiate level. My problem with this is this now cancel culture that we have, especially when it comes to insensitive comments and when it comes to being homophobic. They pick and choose, right? They pick and choose. Really, big time. They pick and choose. Kevin Hart said something 10 years ago. They were trying to cancel him off the Oscars. Someone else said something, but now all of a sudden he says that, okay, we took care of it. He apologized. We gave him $1 million fine. Just keep it going. Okay, well, where's cancel culture at this point? I'm not understanding where is the outcry at this point, saying what he said. Like, to me, man, it's kind of gets bothering to me. Like, why is it doing it? And then West Virginia, I lose a lot of respect for them and the athletic director. Granted, you don't want to fire a great coach, and I understand that, but he has to be held accountable for his actions, especially for a person that's in a position of power like he is.
So he has to be held accountable. A fine, sensitivity training, and probation, like J.W. Smythe is talking about, is that enough? Is this
No, I mean,
apology on
well,
Twitter
no. I
enough?
shouldn't say no. I'm saying the question is that enough? Because
Mm,
if that's what it is, if that's what it's going to take,
yeah,
then
yeah.
across the board it should be the same for everybody, right? That's in this position. If anybody says this and did this is what the consequence is going to be, and we're going to move on. But we know it's not like that. It's not like that. They pick it. People want to pick and choose who they want to go afterward, and media has to do something a lot to do with the mainstream media.
Yeah.
They'll either publicize something about someone they want to be canceled,
Yep.
or they'll say, you know what, we'll put it on the back burner, we won't say anything. Just like that coach we did in Georgia. They was talking all that stuff about in Georgia. We haven't seen nothing else on it in the media.
Yeah, yep.
That trainer.
Yeah.
So they pick and choose who they want to be put out there to be canceled and who they don't want to be canceled. They put out there who they want people to understand and know about and really go after them, or they pull it back, make it a backstory story where no one wants to read it. Stories like us are pushing it out. Urban Meyer, we haven't heard nothing about Urban Meyer since that situation happened. I mean, as soon as it happened, they let him go. That was it. Nothing else. No cancel culture. No more talking about it. No more discussion about it at all. Same thing with this situation, man. I think they'll just push Bobby Huggins kind of to the back. Say, okay, we handled it. That's what we're going to do with it. Let's keep it moving. That's not going to change his ideology.
Yeah.
You just find him. Matter of fact, he might be behind closed doors and saying it even more so because you just find him for $1 million.
Because again, he wasn't drinking.
No.
This was just a regular old conversation. This was him chopping it up with the good old boys. And again, I hate to geographically stereotype, but Kevin Cox said it too as well, right? I mean, this is West Virginia. And we know that there's a majority of different kind of folks in West Virginia that have very old rooted type of
where's the sensitivity training? Where's the mandatory he has to take sensitivity training? Where's the mandatory he needs to do these types of things to hold him accountable? Fine Huggins $1 million, like you said, is nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's like, okay, cool. I'll pay $1 million. I'll make an apology. I don't want to hear about it anymore. Let me just keep it going. If I say it again, you can fire me.
Yeah. And
okay.
So on the screen right now is what he's been told he has to do before he can come back. That $1 million gets donated to charity, LGBTQ plus charity. But yeah, that there's no training like JW Smite was saying. Go ahead, man.
But to be honest with you, that's to keep the LGBTQ off their back. That $1 million donation. That's not to say that he accept his apology. No, that's basically hush money. Hey, don't come after us. Don't put the pressure on us. Here's $1 million. That's the way it is.
That's the way it is. Listen, this right here, we were talking about the Urban Meyers, JW Smite talking about the Brett Favre story. Yeah, listen, we went in heavy on that. It kind of got washed away from the CBS's, NBC's, ESPN's, things of that nature. But we were like, hey, we need some answers. But you're right.
Yeah.
These are the 1, 2, 3, 4 stipulations for coach. Suspended for the first 3 regular season games. Okay.
No problem.
His contract will be amended from a multi-year agreement to a year-by-year agreement. That right there. Okay. That now you're starting to mess with him a little bit. Okay. Now you don't have the cushion of saying I'm here for multi-years. Now every year I got to produce. The wins will erase everything. So, but that one right there got me when I first read it. That one right there got me.
The wins of recruiting doesn't matter. As long as you're winning, that's fine. Because if you have a multi-year contract and you lose, they're going to fire you anyway. Yeah. They'll buy you out. Yeah. So that makes no difference.
That's true. And then, like I said, that $1 million is going to be donated to support the LGBTQ plus center at the school. And then any similar incidents in the future, do it again. And then we're going to let you go. Okay. It seems very light. It does seem very light. The only slap on the wrist was, again, taking his multi-year kind of guarantee and saying, you need to produce every single year or we're going to have problems. So
I think the money was more of the hit. But again, I think that money's just going to be, like you said, I think just translated to be hush money. But like, okay, we've done it. We're sorry. Here's $1 million. That's what it basically said. We're saying we're sorry. We didn't mean to say that, but here's $1 million. Just don't come after us with all that stuff and blasting us in the media. That's what that is.
I'm gonna build a new wing to your center. I'm gonna build a couple of new school, new classrooms in your center.
Yeah. Now, if that's the standard, then hold everybody accountable to that standard. The LGBTQ community is like, okay, that's cool. We're fine. We forgive him. He gave us $1 million. then hold everybody to that standard that are in that situation. But don't, hey, I'm gonna hold one person, I'm gonna ostracize one person that's an entertainer, because all this is entertainment at the end of the day. I'm gonna ostracize one person in entertainment for saying that word and cancel them and pull this whole campaign against them, and then other person I'm gonna just let it ride. I mean, there's gotta be some consistency there, in my opinion. Because you can't let one person get away with it or not. Because now we're just it doesn't make any sense to me. And I mean, truly, I mean, I heard the whole interview. He was saying it pretty freely.
He was
so he like he uses the word a lot. He uses the word pretty freely.
It was okay. Not great segue. Great segue into our next story, because again, someone uses some things. Man, I wish I had some more to drink, because I'm not going to the gym tonight, so I got my old fashioned. I got things on my mind. Let me see. Hold on. Bottom line, Coach Huggins has given many athletes from less than fortunate situations a chance when nobody else would even entertain the thought of giving them a scholarship.
What does that got to do with his actions? If that's the case, we could say that what's my man at the Raiders? What was my man at the Raiders? Chucky? Chucky worked with so many people, gave them opportunity to look at him. That doesn't excuse his actions because he gave it at him. Let's be perfectly honest with you. He gives people opportunities because they can benefit him.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, Cox. I see where you're coming from, though. But that's a hard one to swallow.
The way it is, coaches give those kids opportunities because it benefits them. I'm gonna go recruit that kid from the inner city that can play basketball at the end of the day because he's gonna make my team win, and at the end of the day, that benefits me. It's not because I'm gonna do it out of the kindness of my heart. He's not giving scholarships out of the kindness of his heart. He's giving it because it's gonna help benefit him in this competitive sport. So that part people need to understand. He's not doing it just because he wants to do it and giving people opportunities just because, hey, I'm a good guy and I want to give all these kids a chance, and this kid's in the inner city. This is it. No, he's doing it for selfish reasons because he wants to make his team benefit. That's the bottom line. People don't understand that sports are selfish. It's a selfish business. I want to get people to do things for me, to make me win, to benefit me. That's it. When it benefits me, it benefits the athletic department. The athletic department benefits the university. And usually at the end of that comes money, which benefits everybody above on the board of directors. That's the way it is. So it's a selfish business.
Yeah.
He did that for selfish reasons. And I'm not mad at him. I get it. Go get those kids that need that chance to go play basketball for you. There's nothing wrong with it. But I'm saying let's not cloud it. Let's not make it like it's something that's different. He's doing it to benefit himself.
Yeah.
And his team.
So hopefully this all works out. Chat disconnected. Please wait. I thought maybe we would, when we get into the hard hitting conversation, I saw a little blip over here on the session.
No, I think we should be still good.
That's right. I don't disagree with a single word you said. Listen, I love it, man. See, these are the conversations that we have, and I love the fact. So JW Spine, appreciate you for joining. You definitely full-fledged member of the community now. I haven't seen that name before. Welcome to the conversation. That's why I'm watching y'all. I never knew the sports is the way that this is. Yeah, thank you, Shirley, for coming in. Great transition, as you were saying. So, Coach, West Virginia, talking madness, talking religion, talking sexual preference. Now, that's over there. That's East Coast. Let's come on over here to the West Coast. And I hate seeing negative stories about my Oakland A's because my Oakland A's are in need of love. They already planning on moving. And they following Big Brother, and they're probably gonna end up going to Vegas. But now you got old boy. Now you got old boy. Let me just get into it. On-air personality, the announcer, y'all know him. Y'all Oakland A's fans, y'all know who Glenn Kuiper is. Okay, so he was recently doing a tour of the. I'm gonna make sure I say it right. Of the Negro League Hall of Fame.
He didn't say it that way.
I know. See, I had to pause and make sure I said it right. He was out there at the Negro League Hall of Fame. He was out there doing a tour of that. checking out the facilities. He was out there doing some radio drops and things of that nature. Cope, it's hard to say this. I may play this video right here just so y'all can catch this. When Coper was discussing the phenomenal time he had visiting the Negro League Baseball Museum in Kansas City, Missouri, with one of his analyst cohorts, when he didn't say Negro. Just gonna put it that way. And
he said the other word. He said the other word.
And he said it. So he's look at the title here. He's been suspended indefinitely after using the slur. The way he said it was with vigor, and it wasn't a slip. It just wasn't. I watched it 4 or 5 times trying to figure it out, and it just wasn't a slip. And but I'm gonna let you call it, man. Should I play this?
Hold on. But you're not setting the backdrop. You're not setting the backdrop.
I'm not, because this one's got me shook a little bit.
Let me set the backdrop. Okay, he's announcer for the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
The original Wakanda, the city of Oakland.
That's why I'm having so much problem with this right now.
Think about it. The historics in Oakland in the black community. The Black Panthers were started there. Like I said, I call it the original Wakanda. Oakland's the original Wakanda, where it comes from. And Huey Newton is the original Black Panther. Right? That is what it is. He's in Oakland and he says this kind of racial slur in Oakland. And whether you want to believe it or not, they may not go to the games as much, but the people of Oakland support the A's like no other. They wear their gear all the time.
Come on,
they brag about Oakland no matter what it is, and they still live in the glory days of Ricky Henderson and then when they won the World Series.
MC Hammer out there doing the Bat Boy things. Right? We remember all that.
They remember, and Oakland people really remember it, right? They're very passionate about their sports, and Oakland A's is a very traditional one there. I'm saying for this guy to be in that community and be a part of that, and then to say what he said.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean.
Okay. All right. So Shirley is saying I should play it. I'm gonna play it. We all grown folks.
Okay.
And we've heard the word. And so again, that's the backdrop. I appreciate you for setting it straight right there. Yeah, the man said what he said. He then subsequently went on the air for a game and apologized for it and said it was a slip. Here's the challenge with what was going on. Y'all go ahead and let's go.
Words watch. We had a phenomenal day today. Negro League Museum and Arthur Bryant's barbecue.
So that's the actual.
Y'all hear that? Okay, hold on. Y'all want to hear it again? Why y'all want to hear it again? Or maybe you don't want to hear it again, but what you want to hear and see is that emphasis. You know, kind of like that Clinton thumb, right? You know, you remember when Bill Clinton, when he was trying to make sure he made a point?
Hey, man.
He threw that thumb out there.
We had a phenomenal day today. Negro League Museum.
Like he counted down.
So that's
okay, right? I mean, I couldn't let it slide.
Again, like I said, the background, man. I mean, you represent Oakland, a city that's very rich in African American history, and you're at the Negro League Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And then you come and say that word with that kind of emphasis. I mean, and don't get me wrong, whether it's slip of the tongue or not, he has to be accountable for what he said, right?
Yeah,
and being suspended.
He didn't. Maybe he did. Maybe he did mean it. But again, just that emphasis, maybe trying to tell a story. Okay, but man, when you put that Clinton thumb out there, and you make sure that we hear, because we listening when you show us kind of that body language.
But he did wrong because he apologized for it before he got caught. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wasn't supposed to say that. No.
Yeah.
And that kind of slip of the tongue.
Yeah. The clip that I have on the screen right now is him actually at a game afterwards apologizing for what he said. And I'll again put this clip in the description. But
yeah, man. I mean, I don't know what the, like I said, I'm a forgiver, for people's actions at some point. But I'm also a person that says, okay, they need to be held accountable as well. Even though I may forgive you, you still have to be accountable for your actions. Like I said, for every action, there's a consequence. There needs to be more of a consequence for this because, being suspended for 1 year, and I don't know if he's suspended with pay or not pay. We don't know the whole thing. He just said he's suspended for the year. Him being suspended for a year, I don't know if that's just enough, right? And like I said, you have to take in respect. Like if he said that, and it'd still be wrong, but if he said that somewhere in Mississippi or something where that kind of thing is very tolerable, but we're in California, a very liberal community, and like I said, based in Oakland, California, man, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Like that's where, like I said, there's such a rich African American history there. Very rich, very,
Yeah.
very
And
proud.
this guy has been there for 20 years, right? So
So he knows better.
he's been
So,
the voice of the A's for 20
yeah,
years. So he knows. So again,
he knows better.
yeah, he
So
knows
that means
better.
to tell me. So to me, being, I like to be the side, like you said, the couch quarterback. That tells me right there that that's how he feels. That's how he addresses it. Whether he addresses it on the back end with his friends when no one's around or whatnot, because that content doesn't come out your mouth just flowing wise,
Yeah,
right? It
your
doesn't come out.
subconscious mind is a trip, boy.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah,
say something in your head, and next thing you know, your mouth is saying it, and you emoting it with the Clinton
yep.
thumb.
It's like alcohol, right? The alcohol brings out the truth. That truth serum brings out the
that's
truth.
what it will. That's what it is right there. So there we go. We're not going to belabor that, but I love the
Yeah.
fact that some folks are talking about, again, some other folks are wondering why they got caught up, and maybe some other folks didn't get caught up. This person right here, hopefully there's some additional ramifications on this, but we wanted to bring this story to light.
Hey, I don't want to see my idea no T-shirts and talk about the original Wakanda and all that on somebody in Oakland. No, don't take my idea and try to make a little paper over there. That's an original right there.
Hey, I tell you what, but if you do make it, make sure you send us one. I'll send you. I'll send it to our PO box, guys, so we can have some.
We
of
got
those
you on video that I said it first, so don't even trip.
Man, Oakland was the original Wakanda. That was good.
That's right.
I ain't mad at that. All right, listen, man. Where we going? I've got.
Let's wrap up with Matt.
Yeah, that's where we want to go. That's where we want to go. We again, stories that we were following that again probably weren't flashy, weren't sexy, were just unfortunately seemingly run of the mill, but there was something about this one that got you. So this story got you specifically. Said some not right. Some not right. We need to find everything. We need to hear the entire story. We need to see some tape, video and audio, and I'm gonna pitch it that way. I'm gonna let you go with it because this one right here, I'm giving you the credit on this one, man. Shouts out to Matt Araiza, kinda, because catch 22 right here of what's happening. Tell a little bit about this story.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know what this. Matt Araiza was the number one special teams player in 2022 draft, right? In 2022 draft. He signed with the Buffalo Bills, due to make a lot of money. Like I said, he was a number one special teams player. And an underage young lady accused him of gang rape at a party at San Diego State. So basically at that point, Matt Araiza was cut immediately from Buffalo Bills because they didn't want anything to do with it. And the man's life has been in a disarray ever since, right? Because he lost out on his livelihood, the sport that he loved, obviously millions and millions of dollars to change him and his family's trajectory and their financial situation off the bat. And he's had to endure this for a year. And come to find out now, we come in full circle, that the people that did the investigation, that he wasn't even present at the time when this young lady was being raped. He wasn't even there. And I remember me personally saying that, if he's guilty, then he should be charged, right? He should be, the course of law should be doing. But if he wasn't guilty, which we were talking about when we did it a long time ago, if he wasn't guilty, man, look how this has destroyed this young man's life. And this isn't the first time athletes' lives have been destroyed due to false accusations by women. Yeah. I hate to say it, but young women that do that make it hard for women that are actually raped, like women that are actually assaulted, because now this pokes in stories now. Well, okay, is she making it up, or is she really a victim? And now it's hard to decipher, especially in a situation like this. This young man wasn't even present at the situation. He wasn't there. He wasn't in the room, and he wasn't at the party. So with that all being said, or at the time that happened. Right. So with that being said, I mean, it's just disheartening, man, because like I said, I don't know Matt personally, but I know his circle, people in his circle, and I've obviously been in the San Diego community. I've known about him for years. It's so sad that to see that his life had to take this derail, and hopefully he gets back on track. It's not guaranteed he's ever going to go back to the NFL. It's not guaranteed that the team is going to pick him up. None of that's guaranteed at all. So we don't know what the situation is going to hold for Matt. He has to work himself back into hopefully in good lights. And regardless of what the situation is, this will always be a stain on his record.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Even though, again, right, I mean, the fact that The man wasn't even in the building.
Yes.
Right? When the tapes were played, when the video was played, and come to find out, wait a minute, this guy who you were accusing wasn't even in the building.
But
And
can you imagine his psyche though?
That's why I said this is a catch-22, right? This is a weird situation, right? Yeah, he's not going to jail. Yeah, he doesn't have a charge for this on paper, but his reputation is blemished.
Yeah,
I
lost so much money.
He's lost his
so
money.
much money.
What would you do? What would you do? Let me ask you this before you go on. What would you do if it was you in the situation? You knew you were innocent. You weren't even.
I would be angry.
You were at In-N-Out getting you some burgers. 1:00 in the morning. They still open at that time. You knew you had left the party and you weren't there anymore. Come to find out after a while, oh yeah, you know what? You weren't even there. What would you do?
I would be angry at the world.
Yeah, it's unfair for me to even ask you that question, right?
Because no. I mean, if I was to put myself in my shoes, I would be angry at the world. I would be angry, so angry at that young lady, bitter at everyone that doubted me. I'd be angry with the press that even ran the story. I'd be angry with the Buffalo Bills that cut me for no reason. I'd be angry at so many people. But at the same time, I would rejoice that it's gone away, right?
Yeah.
I'll be rejoicing and like, okay, it's gone away. Now I'll get a chance to kind of, get my life back and get back in the groove. But the problem is there is no guarantee now for me to get back in that groove. Remember, I was set to make $1 million a year, which is life-changing money forever, to kick a football. My life is about to change. I was about to be at the epitome of my career. I'm the best of the best at this point, and I'm about to be financially compensated to being the best and be in training camp. And I think his rookie contract was going to be 3 or 4 years. So I'm going to make at least $4 or $5 million while I'm there. And if we make the playoffs, I'll make all that money, which we know Buffalo does and all that good stuff. I missed out on all that money due to a lie. I would be angry. This is the same situation when people get falsely accused and go to prison for years, right? Go to prison, and they didn't commit the crime, and then, we find out, oh, that was wrong. Shit, man, I just lost out on part of my life, man. It was probably some of the most important things I'm supposed to do, and now it's gone due to a lie. So my question, and I think she needs to be charged.
There it is, right there. A lot of folks in the comments are talking about a civil suit coming. Right.
I don't know. No, I don't care about criminal charges should be brought against you.
Come on. What? Okay.
No, forget. She's never going to be able to pay back the money I lost. She's not going to be able to pay back the money I lost. She can't. I was due to make millions of dollars. Most people aren't going to make that much money in their lifetime not to pay me back on the civil suit. So that's not going to be recouped. Why does she get to lie and I lose everything, and all she does is get, hey, I could possibly sue you and win whatever money you might make. Why is it not criminal charge?
I understand that.
Because last time I checked, if you go to court and you lie, that's perjury.
I understand that anger because I would have the exact same thing. That's.
Yeah, I don't civil suit. I don't give you need criminal charges. Yeah. I'm sorry what happened to you. I'm sorry some young men raped you, but that doesn't neglect you lying about me being there and taking away everything I have. That's the bottom line. Like, it doesn't negate that. So now I'm left with doing the civil suit of some money that you probably will never make. I don't know the young lady, and I'm not trying to pick on her. I'm just saying from the facts that we know, you railroaded my career and nothing's going to be done to you. Yet I got to try to start all over and hopefully make something happen. I got to hopefully make this a happy ending, which is not guaranteed, which we all know.
Nope.
So I don't know, man. I would be really, really bitter and angry right now at this point. Very bitter. And I think she needs to be charged criminal charges. I really do. And I think any woman that lies on another man about committing a crime such as heinous as sexual assault or rape, also they need to be charged with lying on somebody. They shouldn't get a free pass.
Like JW Smite is saying, if he had done something from a self-sabotage perspective, that would have added to the narrative, and that would not have been good. Matt is coming out and saying, listen, he's hopeful that enough NFL teams would take a second look at him. So he's trying to wear, he's trying to wear that hat and say, listen, try to be glass half full. And hope does he get another chance and kind of gets the opportunity to go back out there and live his dream and play the game. But
But this is the caveat to that, and I understand that he's got a chance to go back and redeem himself and all stuff. What if he hurts himself? That money's gone. He was guaranteed. He was drafted, I believe, in the second or third round. He was guaranteed.
He was drafted in the second
millions
round.
of
Yeah,
dollars.
he was legit. Yeah, he was definitely. I never got. I only saw tape of him since the story broke out. But yeah, he was legit. Second round. Yeah,
He was guaranteed millions of dollars, and now you're saying, "Oh, I got a chance maybe to possibly make it back." Bro, I lost that money. That money's gone. Like I got to figure out a way to get myself back in and get in. And who wants to take a chance on him? Which I think some teams will, in hindsight. But the bottom line, I lost out on a year of my life in hell when I was supposed to be living the best part of my life. At that point, I just lost all a year of hell when I was supposed to be living the best part of my life. And I don't think that should just be thrown to the side, and she should be able to get away with it. Because it happens a lot more often than not. It's happened before with the running back in Georgia a long time ago. And they did a movie about it where he was accused of raping a girl and he didn't rape her and he lost out on his scholarship. And he got put in jail. It happens a lot where these situations happen where women lie on these men about doing these types of actions, and it railroads their careers and nothing happens to them. That's not fair. So hopefully they get it right. I don't, like I said, the civil suit's cool to do something, but I believe criminal charges should be brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
And Madigan I got it highlighted here. He's taking the high road. I'm aware of the facts made public. Listen, let's do this the right way. I can only hope that now people will assess me on the facts and not what was falsely acclaimed in both the civil suits and the press. That's a grown man talking right there. Right?
Absolutely.
That's someone kind of going back into, I'm looking at some of these comments, right? Folks were saying, because we've talked about this as well. Should he not go to any of these parties anymore? Should he make sure that he has some people around him, the right squad, folks to look out for him? Yeah, he should have folks around him to make sure that he's well taken care of. But no, still live your life. Go to the parties and do that thing. Just be cognizant, be aware. Know when it's time to roll out again, right? Bring your own drink. Don't let nobody put that. The story that we tell our kids when they go to all of that.
Don't you think he would now gonna have trust issues? I would. Anybody within my circle around, I probably have trust issues unless I really know you from day one, because I've had the ultimate lie told on me.
Yeah. Because this could have turned into real ugliness for him. And someone's even saying again, because we talked about this earlier, coaches are going to second think just because right, he had this case, just because he had this drama. Oh, don't bring this over here to the Raiders. Don't bring this over here to San Diego, because you already had this negative spotlight.
You also think, is he in the right psyche? Is he ready? Is he just concentrating on football now? How's he going to deal with, he is on the team and all these women are around him chasing him? Well, how does he? You as a team are going to have to evaluate that to make sure it's right. I think Matt is mature enough to handle it and do it. But the bottom line, they have to analyze that, right? Bringing him on that because he's been in this situation. I truly believe, man, that he lost out. He lost out on so much.
Yeah.
And I think he can recover. I'm not saying he can't recover, but I'm saying that we're talking about right now, today, May 10th, 2003, where he was supposed to be to compare where he is now. Man. He lost out on the life. He lost out on a lot. And I asked our audience out there, how would you feel if somebody lied on you and took away $1 million from you?
Man, I'd be mad if somebody took $20, man. Listen, right? Keep it in perspective.
Exactly.
This is some generational kind of grown folks money.
If somebody told a lie on you and took a couple $100 from you, you would be upset. You would be upset. Now, can you imagine that magnitude times $1 million? Probably magnitude times that probably like $2 million because of the playoff money, possible endorsements he was going to get, camps he gets to go do, all these speaking engagements and all those things that come with being a professional athlete. He lost out on. That's sad. And all you're telling me is she's going to get a civil suit on some money that if I sue her for the amount that I lost, she's never going to be able to pay it back.
Great.
She can't pay me that money back ever. So now where do I stand? The civil suit now is just a slap in the face saying, hey, okay, I'm going to throw something out there for you to give me. But that's still not going to bring back what I've lost at all. So Matt, if I'm Matt, I love your statement. I love what you're doing. And I'm glad you're taking the high road. But I know there was some deep, dark down in the pit of his stomach. There's anger. Because I know me putting out, I would be angry.
Yeah.
I'd be super angry.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom, right? A lot of times we can say, I know how you are. If I'm in your shoes and I understand, I don't understand. Because
Yeah.
I'm not in that world. I haven't been accused of anything like that. And I'm not losing that kind of generational wealth over a lie and having my
Yeah,
name
it's a lot
strewn.
to deal with. I think
Yeah.
it's just a lot to deal with and kind of understand and kind of like I always use the phrase peel back the onion. If we start
Yeah.
peeling back the onion, there's a lot of layers there that Matt has to kind of get through and overcome. And I feel sorry for the young lady because she was raped. She was a victim.
Yeah.
It's just she accused the wrong person. And many people go, was that a crime? Yeah, it's a crime when it detriments somebody else's life. That's a crime. So I mean, in her time, she also committed a crime by lying on him. And I feel sorry for her, and I hope whoever did that hideous thing to her, I hope they are brought to justice. I hope justice is served for those that did that to her. But I mean, looking at the glass half full, I'm glad Matt gets another chance. He's gonna hopefully get another chance at life and be able to, do the things he always meant to do. But I think he's gonna be doing things at a cautious level. I think the people around him, he's not gonna trust.
Yeah, he's got to be.
Yeah.
He's apprehensive now for sure. Let me answer
Yeah.
this question, JW Smite. You were asking about how they found out. It was cell phone records. It was social media conversations
and witnesses,
as well.
and witnesses, right?
And
witnesses.
a lot of witnesses as well, man.
Yeah.
Come back in like 20 minutes after the show, and I have all these links in the description for you as well, so you can check all that out, man. But appreciate you for asking that question. Almost halftime. Warriors up by 3, 50-47 over these Lakers. We'll see what's going on. That was our good story for tonight. I don't feel good, right? I only feel about 80% okay with that, and I hope this works out for him. I hope she finds out who did do this to her, right? So again, I hope that happens, because undoubtedly something did happen, and we want justice served on both sides. But it's a weird catch-22 for a Razor. So take us home, brother. Take us home, man.
Yeah, like I said, man, I think as our community, we need to be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations. That's the way we learn from each other. With that being said, we're out.
That's it, y'all. Be good to yourself. Listen, we bring in value. Hopefully you like it. Appreciate all the new folks coming into the community. Subscribe to the channel, because we coming in hot every Wednesday when I'm not on one. So that's why I need my tail in here. So we'll be back next Wednesday. If you got any topics for us that you want throughout the week, shoot them our way as well. But we do a decent job of pulling the stuff out. We want some more good stories, though. We kind of tired of the thoughts and prayers. We got to talk about it, but let's see if we can find some good news in the news as well. Y'all be good to yourself. We out.